by Emily Guten, U.S. political reporter for DailyMail.com. Progressive star Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and conservative darling Sarah Palin got into Twitter fisticuffs this week after the former Republican vice presidential candidate mocked the newly elected lawmaker for saying there are 3 chambers of Congress. Ocasio-Cortez snapped back that Palin's tweets are like grandpa emails. Palin wrote on Twitter on Monday Ocasio-Cortez fumbled basic civics twice in one statement and linked to an article on her Governor Palin .org website that contained a tweet from Daily Wire reporter Ryan Saavedra, who shared a video of Ocasio-Cortez making a mistake when talking about the branches of government. Originally the 29-year-old member-elect, who will be the youngest woman elected to Congress, said there were 3 chambers of Congress. There are 2, the House and the Senate. She tried to correct herself. If we work our butts off to make sure that we take back all 3 chambers of Congress, rather, all 3 chambers of government, the presidency, the Senate, and the House, Ocasio-Cortez said. But her correction was incorrect. The 3 chambers of government are the White House, Congress, and the Supreme Court. Ocasio-Cortez slammed Palin for coming after her, going on a Twitter rant about the former vice presidential nominee and other Republicans. Now that's 2 fallen GOP vice pres candidates going after a freshman congresswoman that's not even sworn in yet. Isn't it a little early to be bringing out the big guns? Especially when they look like the FWD. Watch this grandpa emails from the 08 election they lost, she wrote on Twitter. She clarified that the other GOP vice presidential candidate she was referring to was former Sen. Joe Lieberman. Lieberman ran as Al Gore's Democratic running mate in 2000, and he was considered by John McCain for his 2008 ticket after Lieberman became an independent. McCain ultimately opted for Palin over Lieberman. He said before he died it was of his few political regrets. He lost the 2008 presidential election to Barack Obama. Share this article. Share. Lieberman was one of 2 holdouts in the Senate when Democrats were trying to get President Obama's signature healthcare legislation passed. He demanded the public option be removed in exchange for his vote. It was done. The public option was a proposal to create a government-run health insurance agency that would compete with other private health insurance companies, which those companies opposed. Lieberman, in his work with the nonpartisan group No Labels, has worked with Republicans. However, he also has charged Ocasio-Cortez is too liberal to be effective on Capitol Hill. In July, after Ocasio-Cortez had defeated Representative Joe Crowley in the Democratic primary in New York, Lieberman wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal calling for Crowley to run in the general election on the Working Families Party. Because the policies Ms. Ocasio-Cortez advocates are so far from the mainstream, her election in November would make it harder for Congress to stop fighting and start fixing problems, he wrote. Crowley declined to get back into the race. Ocasio-Cortez clarified on Tuesday that her Twitter thread on the matter was supposed to be funny. For those who need their jokes explained to them, surprise. This tweet thread is humorous. The emoji in the original tweet signals that humor is indicated in the statement. She wrote. Palin didn't respond directly to the swarm of tweets, but she did link to another article on a liberal congresswoman who some see as a rising star in the Democratic Party, writing, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says drooling Republicans are waiting to chop up her mistakes. The link was to an article about Ocasio-Cortez's original mistake and her subsequent tweet complaining about Republicans attacking her. Maybe instead of Republicans drooling over every minute of footage of me in slow-mo, waiting to chop up word slips that I correct in real time, they actually step up enough to make the argument they want to make, that they don't believe people deserve a right to health care, she wrote. She then corrected her spelling to real-time.